All right, another patron request, this time for Courtney Calcutt, who has been a supporter and subscriber of mine, commented in my videos for a long while now. So I'm glad that she became a patron and requested the film Excision. She had requested Martyrs, but I had already covered it on my podcast. So she went with Excision. All right, so we got Annalyn McCord here playing Pauline, and this is a beautiful woman who has been made under to look like a ragged 18-year-old sociopath. But let me say, this girl's character is extremely complex and intriguing to me because she is a walking contradiction. She's a total conundrum. She's a paradox. She's this like sociopath who doesn't give a shit about anything, but she also deeply cares about the way she's perceived no matter what she tries to project. So her character just sends my head for loops because I just can't figure out to save my life. We've also got Tracy Lords and John Waters in here playing complete opposite characters than which we would have previously seen them play. Of course, Tracy Lords being a porn star. I like Tracy Lords as an actress. I always have, all the way back from like Crybaby and whatnot. I think she gives a really great performance here as the concerned, proper mom who's trying to put her daughters through cotillion and, wants to have this perfect household, which couldn't be further from the truth. And that's mostly Pauline's fault. Now, of course, Tracy Lord's character here is kind of a bitch. She does want what's best for her family, and Pauline, make no mistakes about it, is the thorn in this family's side. And even more so than that later on, of course, with how ridiculous she gets. We've also got quick roles here from Malcolm McDowell, Marlee Matlin, Ray Weiss. We get a lot of familiar faces in here, so some cool faces to be seen throughout. I do want to say that I feel like Richard Bates Jr. tries a little too hard to be artistic with his films. Her intense, sexually charged, violent dreams that she has, while can be striking visually, I feel like they're trying a little too hard. It's a little too heavy-handed to try to be, you know, bizarre. I don't know. It just feels like it's just putting a little too much, in a little too much into it. You know what I mean? Like just a little heavy-handed. And this is something that happens in like every film of his. So, I don't know. Anybody else feel like that? It feels like he's trying to pull off something edgy and artsy and this and that. It just feels like he's trying too hard. I don't know. That's the way I feel about it, and he does it in every single movie I've seen of his, and I've seen every movie he's ever made. So there you go. Anyway, and we've got her desire to be a surgeon, which is kind of laughable because she does nothing to even warrant such a grand desire. She is not paying attention in school. God, she's such an exceptionally weird and thought-provoking character, because how do you deal with someone like this? Especially as a parent, as a parent of two kids. One of my kids right now is in this just never-ending phase, it seems, of being an absolute tyrant. I mean, that's the best way to describe her. She genuinely has made our lives almost unbearable for a while now, and we just seriously don't know what to do with her. And it's bumming me out because while I do love her, yes, I don't like her a lot of the times. And that's a terrible feeling to have towards your kids. And she has her moments where she's great, but man, she just is such a fucking nightmare these last few months. And I'm trying to have sympathy. I'm trying to be there for her, but to think of a daughter who, she's 6, so it's pretty easy to just be like, it's a phase, she'll get over it. But, extrapolate that. Bring it up to 18 years old. I mean, she's a freaking adult now. She's a full-grown woman now, so you can kick her ass out of the house if you wanted, which they should have done. But, you know, they want to see the best in their daughter. They want to be there for her, and I can support that. But there's got to be a line, and she crosses it for sure, especially at the end, obviously. But just thinking about, that's like a grand fear of, I would hope, any parent that's being honest about it. Because I know some people go, I could never hate my kids. And while I'll agree that I don't think that 100% of me would ever hate my children for any reason, having a kid that would be absolutely impossible to deal with, who makes your life an absolute living hell day in, day out. Now, there will be some people chuckling to themselves. It's like, well, wait till they're teenagers. They're going to definitely be like this. This isn't that kind of situation I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the typical 13 to 15, 18, whatever fucking teenage years that you want to point your finger at and say, oh, the hormones and the this and that. I'm not talking about that. That's typical stuff. I can deal with that. I can see that for what it is. What this girl is in this movie is above and beyond. This is something where, you know, her mom is in the room with the dad and she's like, I try everything, but I just can't love her. That is a very terrifying thought as a parent, because having a daughter like this, it's like, you know what you're supposed to do. You know what is socially acceptable, you know, and you know what you think, which is, I want to love my kid no matter what. But she legitimately is making it impossible for this woman. She's making it impossible for her family. The shit she pulls in this movie, the stuff she says, the stuff she does, there's just, I mean, if you dealt with that every day, there's no connection, there's no emotion, there's no love, there's no nothing from this girl. She's totally, you know, unrelatable. And God, that's terrifying. I hope that I never have to experience anything like this. But watching this movie, growing up, you know, or watching a kid grow up in your house that is your child, and having no connection to them like that, you know, kind of reminds me of something like We Need to Have a Talk About Kevin, or We Need to Talk About Kevin, or whatever the hell the name of that movie is. Like, throughout the movie, she's just like, there's always a disconnect between them. She can always see the evil within this kid. And you never want to see your kid in that light. You never want to, you know, admit that there might be something wrong with your child like that, on that grand of a level. And man, it scares me as a parent. So yeah, my kid will break out of it. She'll be fine. All will be well, more than likely. But you watch something like this and you're like, Jesus, what would you do? What would you do with someone like this? What an absolute nightmare. So, yeah, there you go. All right. The dad tries to be fun, but he's a bit of a pushover when it comes to the mom. She's kind of got the pants on in the family. And this is his pre-Lester Burnham take his life back moment. He never has that moment where he's gonna quit his job and start smoking pot and working out again and all that stuff, where he takes back control of his life against his proper wife. That's kind of the relationship that they have in this movie. It reminds me of Lester and his wife in American Beauty. But of course, we never see him kind of take his life back. But you see what a bitch the mom is, because, you know, Pauline almost drowns as a child, and the dad saves her by CPR, and she scolds him. The mom scolds him for giving her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, saving her life because he had a cold sore on his mouth. I mean, could you imagine? Oh, you know, you should have waited for the lifeguard. Like, you have a cold sore. She was fine. And he's like, I saved her fucking... I would freak. See, that's where I differ. That's why I'm single, I guess. I can't. I just can't. I would turn around and be like, are you You kidding me? Are you kidding me? I just saved our daughter's life. How dare you? I would immediately leave. And then she like threatens divorce at him somewhere in the movie. I'll divorce your ass so fast to make your head spin. Bye. Bye. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You threaten divorce on me? Bye. That's that. To my detriment, to be honest. I have a very short fuse with that kind of stuff. If anyone even hints that they don't want to be with me anymore, I'm gone. Now that, as I said, to my detriment, I shouldn't be that quick to the draw on something like that. But, oh man, when she says that to him. And the thing at the pool, I'm sorry, that is grounds for divorce, in my opinion. Like, I get that she's being protective of her daughter, but he clearly saved her life. Saved her life! And she's giving him shit. No way. Couldn't do it. Anyway, moving on. Oh man, I love how straightforward she is because it does remind me of me. She just has less tact than I do, and she intentionally tries to hurt people's feelings who do not deserve it. Now, her and I are very similar in the saying whatever the hell's on our mind right to the people we don't like and not giving a shit. That is how I am. I know some people claim to be that way, but ask anyone I know who actually knows me in person and they'll be like, oh Jesus Christ, don't ever get Jason going, don't ever be around, he'll embarrass the shit out of you, man. Because that's it. If I don't like you, I'm just gonna walk up and be like, I don't fucking like you. I remember I used to have this girl that used to work with us. We hated each other and we were so open about her. I will say this, I respected that about her. She never faked like she liked anybody. I hated her. I thought she was a horrible person. But I will give her credit for never faking it for anybody. When I came in to the salon, I was like, fuck you. And she was like, fuck you. I hate you. And I was like, hate you too. I don't know if we use the words hate strong, but on her last day, when she was having her party, I went to her party and she said, what the fuck are you doing here? And I was like, I'm here to celebrate you leaving. And she was like, okay. Oh, what a bitch. She was such a, I'll tell you, I could go on more of a rant there about how she left that party and how, oh God, she was the worst. But I straight up hate you, but I respect you. Anyways. Oh man, when she purposely vomits on her classmate to try to get out of cotillion and to get back at that chick, pretty funny stuff. Her sister having cystic fibrosis. She was her cystic fibrosister. I actually was going to write that joke down and then I didn't write that joke down because I was like, that was stupid. And I still went for it and it just didn't work. Damn. Why? Why don't I edit? Anyways, so, cystic. See, you could even use it there. It's her cysteric fibrosis. Yeah, it's not going to ever be funny. Damn. Moving on. And, oh man, the cotillion dance thing is pretty funny when she goes and the guy asks her to dance. The first girl, she puts her arm around her. Cute little girl, too. She's like, have you ever thought about having work done? What a bitch, man. I was like, damn, you're brutal. I mean, as I said, she's a very pretty little girl. So I was like, what are you talking about? This girl, not that anybody needs work, but they could have found a uglier little girl, I guess. Anyway, but that's nor here nor there. She just has no tact regardless. And that kid comes to ask her to dance and he's making fun of her cold sore, so she kisses him and potentially gives him it. And then he says, I thought she was a retard. That kid fucking deserved it. Okay, anyone who's like, I thought she was a retard, I was just trying to be nice. So, not, you thought that girl was mentally retarded, and then you bash her for how she looks, how old she is, and that her face is, that the growth on her face is disgusting. You thought she was a mentally challenged person, and then you attack. You fucking deserve a cold sore. You deserve herpes on your face, you little shithead. That'll That'll teach you. Um, and yeah, I just overhearing her mom saying that she tried to love her but she can't, overhearing, or having the girls saying that she has the body of a boy, which of course Annalyn McCord does not. They had to like tape her tits back the best they could. And that girl has an amazing body, but for the movie, uh, they went that way. But yeah, she was like talking about removing, like changing her belly button. I don't know why that would make her less of a boy, but I would think she would want to put in breast implants. Who knows? Who knows the thought process of this freaking freak? Um, and yeah, I mean, I feel like, you see, I feel like people could watch this and be like, "Oh, the mom's just an outright bitch" throughout the movie. I don't think so. I think her mom struggles with her past. She brings up her mother and how she doesn't want to be anything like her mother. And she does try to connect with her daughter multiple times throughout the movie. She really, really tries. But she just can't. Excuse me. It's like 2 something in the morning. But Pauline is just, she's unrelatable. As I said, you just can't connect with the girl. She's just so fucking nuts. And then yeah, man, those chicks graffiti her locker. I didn't even mention the dude that she lost her virginity to, that she makes go down on her while she's on her period. That's some funny shit. A, if he really thought that was her virginity, does he not know anything about a hymen and that she should be bleeding down there? So, and B, like, I know he says, "Oh, you're so wet," and it's his first time and all of this, but he didn't notice the blood. How was she on top of him, fucking him not looking down and seeing the blood? A, B, when they go to flip around, does he not see when he's in missionary with her? How does he not see the blood? And then he goes down on her and still doesn't see the blood. I get it. He's under the sheet, but the sheet doesn't block all light. There would be blood everywhere. So, and then he comes up and he's just so mean to her. That kid's an asshole. Not only is he, cheating on his girlfriend, but he's also, does something that he should have noticed in the first goddamn place. But then he's such a dick to her, like when she's at the car, and then he tries to ignore her like she doesn't exist the next day. He's a shithead, man. He's the one whose lungs she should have taken. Actually, man, a lot of people in this movie suck. But yeah, the little jump rope girl across the street, she makes amends with her and brings her across, knocks her out, chloroforms her, drugs the dad, genuinely seems to love her sister. I don't question her love for her sister, and she does want to save her life. The cystic fibrosis sister. That's gonna work. It's gonna work. There, you laughed. Come on, you had to have laughed. It's gonna be like Family Guy, man. You just keep beating a dumb joke until it's funny. But yeah, I think I mentioned the smashing of the face of the kid in the school. No, I think I went off onto the boyfriend because I was gonna mention it and then whatever. So yeah, I like that she comes in and just smashes her face in and then talks to Ray Weiss and he's just like Mr. Friendly, but like, "You gots to go, little lady." And then yeah, I mean, she kills her sister trying to save her. It's a really sad sequence, and I like the way it ends with her coming out and seeing that the place is a mess and her being like, "Well, I don't have my technique down yet, but come over, take a look, like I've done really well." And you think that if she was trying to take their lungs, this is why I'm like, she has no place even wanting to be a surgeon, because she clearly knows nothing about it. You don't have people on their front, like they're on their backs. You don't cut into the front to get their lungs. The lungs are in the back of your body. They're here. They're back there. So the fact that they're laying on their backs and she's cutting into their chest to get their lungs, I was like, wow, yeah, you're gonna go through a lot to get to their lungs. You're gonna have to pull everything else out to get to the lungs. So man, she has this love for her sister, but she even realizes at the end what the hell she's done, I feel. And she starts crying and screaming, like, what the hell's wrong with me? And her interactions with John Waters is really funny as well. I wish they would have played more into that. I wish there would have been a little more back and forth, but whatever. Anyways, moving back to this ending. I love the Tracy Lord scream at the end while holding her daughter. Like, she's holding her, but there's like no love there, and she's just so distraught and devastated, and she just lets out that scream, and then credits. Fantastic. This is a great movie. Little heavy-handed in places, but a fantastic performance by Annalyn McCord. Fantastic performance from pretty much everyone involved. It's got this very dark comedy feel to it, a la Heathers or something like that. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Donnie Darko in places. It's got a very odd feeling. It feels John Waters-y at times as well. And not just because him and Tracy Lords are in it, but, or he and Tracy Lords. What would be grammatically correct there? I think it's he. Anyways, so thank you to Cortney for coming on over to patreon.com and signing up for a review. That was awesome, Cortney. You're wonderful. And it was fun to revisit this. So I got to go to bed. It's late, but thank you so much, Cortney. And thank you so much to everybody who supports the channel. See you in the comments. That's my new sign off. If you noticed the last few videos, see you in the comments. I do respond to all of them, so it is a real thing. So there you go. See you in the comments. Adios.